Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Creeping Southpaw, episode number 2, with your hosts, me, in the Dynamo Kelly, and of course, the creep himself, Mr. Jason McGuinness. Jay,
How are we,
episode
folks?
number 2, lots to talk about, and you're not here to take part today. You are here literally to take over, as you
I'm here
are.
to take over today.
So,
Absolutely. How much there to talk about today, man? This is even as good as the debut show was. As debut shows go, this one's gonna completely top it, man. I'm excited for this one.
yeah, why don't you tell the folks out there what we've got in store for them today?
We've got a lot actually. We've got obviously there's only really one way to start. With regards to UFC 257, we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then we're just going to run through some of the divisions in boxing, some of the most exciting divisions at the moment. There's certainly, for me, there's 3 that stand out. We're going to talk about that. We're going to do a little bit of matchmaking as well, and maybe talk about fights that should be made. And we're going to have a little chat about the pound for pound list as well, seeing as we're going through a few different divisions, and see, of course, we'd be happy to hear your guys' opinions on it as well. So we have a lot of exciting things to talk about today.
I like the sounds of that. Before we do get into, obviously, McGregor and Poirier, be sure to follow us on the Dynamo Podcast Network. Hit the bell notification there, so any time a video comes up, you're getting notified, so you're not missing out, you're not losing time on it. And hit the subscribe, like button, all that good stuff. Leave comments. But on to today's show, and like you said, there is only one place to start. We talked about it on the debut show, and that's why this show was a little bit delayed, people, because we wanted to actually bring the McGregor Poirier reaction, because that's pretty much what people would want, considering we talked about it last week. And it did happen last Saturday at all hours, which, kills us Irish people, and all you Americans over there get the benefit from it having it at a reasonable time. So we talked about this fight in detail last week, because McGregor obviously wanted to fight a southpaw, and in getting ready for that multi-million dollar fight between him and Pacquiao, which, well, you might think twice about it now. But yeah, so what's your thoughts on that? I mean, first and foremost, we'll say, with that kind of display in boxing, because you could tell they were trying to stand up, either of those fighters getting in with someone like Manny Pacquiao is like signing a death wish, even at an older age. I mean, that guy has rockets in his hands, you know what I mean? Like, and he's still as fast as lightning. So I'm sure there'll be a little bit of back to the drawing board there on McGregor's team's part, and maybe look at it. I mean, look, if he's going to get 100 million purse out of it, I don't really think he gives a shit if he gets knocked out if he can walk away with 30 million in Abu Dhabi and lose. I'm sure he'll lose for 100 million over in the States somewhere.
Absolutely, and I think we've learned that from Conor McGregor in the past, really. But I think starting with the fight, it was very surprising, I think, to a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
Especially, I think, how the fight ended. I think
no one predicted that. Sure, well,
I don't think anybody. I mean, like, look, if you would have looked at everybody's bets around the world, I guarantee you that 85% of people's bets would have been on McGregor to win by TKO in the second round.
Yeah,
not Dustin Poirier. I mean, and look, Conor. I said it before. I don't like kind of break down the fight that morning. Conor won that first round. I think he showed a lot with regards to his defense on the ground. I think he handled that extremely well. Stayed very calm, pushed himself up against and got his back against the cage. Poirier just kind of held him, didn't do much really. Conor got up, done very, very well in the clinch. They were kind of switching clinches, back against the cage. Conor landed an elbow at the end, and he landed this new maneuver in MMA, the shoulder strike. And Dustin tried to land one back, and it was nowhere near to the damage of Conor's. Conor was, I think DC said it, he's putting his whole body weight into it. That's an amazing shot. That's a really dangerous shot that I think you're going to see a lot more of. But look, wow, there's only one.
Well, there was nice trash talk between the two as well, and I think
there was. I like that, and I think you've got to congratulate Dustin Poirier, man, because I mean, whoa.
Well, that's a comeback. That's that's a true fucking comeback story, and I think that's what you were saying. I would say McGregor round one, it wasn't like by any means mauling or anything like that. It was good shots by both guys, but I think for Poirier, from his perspective, he was trying to get through the first round to kind of maybe test McGregor a little bit, and actually, Dustin was probably liking to taste a few of those shots as well to see that he could take them. Do you know what I mean? It looked that way to me.
Didn't he show that, I think, as well in the Dan Hooker fight, man? He was saying that the two of these guys were punching their faces in.
Yeah.
And Dustin within, I don't know what round it was. It might have been after the third or fourth round. And his coach asked him, "You doing okay?" And Dustin says, "I'm having a ball in there."
Yeah, I see that.
This guy likes pain. He's one of these guys that likes pain and likes taking shots. And now we knew he can take some. And Conor landed some big shots, man.
He did land. He landed a nice kind of. It was like a looping kind of.
Yeah, he's
under
done
hook, under right hook. It was kind of.
He done that to Nate as well several times in that second fight.
Yeah.
So it seems to be a move on a southpaw he likes to do.
Yeah, because he's got that long kind of awkward reach and style where he actually gets a lot of power from it. Like he's done it.
He's got a crazy reach for a 5'9" guy, man.
Yeah,
crazy reach.
Yeah, I wish I had that reach for a 5'9".
I know, yeah. 74, I think he is. Like that's
Jesus.
Crazy for a 5'9" guy.
It is. It's gorilla stuff.
Look,
it's gorilla stuff, as he calls himself. You know?
Yeah, the gorilla stuff. Yeah, nice and flowy, as he says. But look, I'm thinking that second round then Poirier masterclass with the calf kicks. That's another new maneuver that started to come in, because I've noticed a lot of fighters starting to hit those calves now, especially with that kind of karate style when they're kind of.
Did you notice at the start
very heavy on the front leg?
Did you get the feeling when you were watching that live, you were just thinking it was just another kick? It was only after you watched the replay you realized, fuck me. And I was trying to look. I watched the fight again, and I was looking at McGregor's face. You don't see him wince on the first one because he tries to have a poker face when he's fighting. But you could tell that one done damage because he was like, oh, you could just tell the eyes were going to go, what the fuck?
Oh, you think you could hear? Didn't he say after? He said the moment when he got mentally defeated in the fight was when Dustin landed one and his corner man shouted, that was a great one. And Conor heard the corner man, and Conor thought to himself, you bastard, that was a great one, actually.
Yeah,
he says that's when he felt he was mentally defeated in the octagon. I mean, it's interesting as well, after the first round. Now, if you look after the first round, both fighters went back to the corners. I thought Dustin was going to get taken out in that second round because Dustin looked banged up. Yeah, and he looked tired, and it didn't look like it was going to go well. Conor making a point by not sitting down and stood up. Now, I wonder, was that something to do with the calf? Was the calf hurt earlier than we suspected? And I think maybe that's why he stood up, because if he would have sat down, that could have completely stiffened up. So it's an interesting one.
I can't remember because I didn't actually look out for that. Was there any kind of calf kicks in the first round as well? Did he?
I think he landed one. Yeah, I think he landed one or two. I don't think they were devastating by any means, but I think that was arguably why Conor maybe didn't sit down after the first. I think he was hurt.
And the thing is, when people are saying check those kicks or whatever, if that's such a devastating shot, it's very hard to probably lift his fucking leg even to do that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And he said it, yeah. And it's great because it's a great move in that sense. That just kills the nerve in your leg. And especially if you're...
It takes power out of your fucking shots then, you know.
And it takes everything. You know yourself, of course, with David Hayes' terrible broken toe, like, you know, that he couldn't use the shots, like, you know.
Yeah. Although he did end up getting that a bad injury, obviously, then in the first Bellew fight, which
did actually. That's true.
Which I actually did feel sorry for him in that, because that he showed the fucking heart of a lion in that fight. You know what I mean? To come back.
There's no doubt. He showed a new David Hay. Actually,
he did, and I think that's the David Hay I love. Do you know what I mean? That's the David Hay that's now. But yeah, I mean, I have to say, I was watching it with a buddy here, and we were kind of sharing a Zoom chat on it in the Zoom bar, which I'm sure is it's worldwide in this global.
It's gone global.
Yeah. So, but my good Lord, I've never been so shocked and excited. Not excited to see Conor lose, because I'm not one of those. I mean, we're a fan of the sport first, and then you're a fan of the individual second, I think. And when I was seeing that onslaught of punches come in, I was like, whoa, what the?
Yeah.
And like, I remember my mate just going, no, it's not doing much. I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, and when I saw him go down and he was literally out, I was like, because we've all seen the memes, which are, you know, look, that's the modern era. People make memes.
It's 2021, man. That's
Bernie
just the way it is.
Bernie Sanders got the backlash from it too. So, but like,
there's actually that meme is together. If you didn't notice, there's
actually
I've
seen
Bernie
it.
Sanders choking Conor out.
Like, in fairness, I don't think they're not bad memes. They're just.
No, I don't mind that. To be honest, I guarantee you, Connor's getting a laugh out of it.
Oh, I'd say he thinks that's funny too.
Absolutely.
It's the other keyboard warriors basically slagging fighters.
Yeah, exactly. They know nothing about the fight game as well.
You know. But, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Look, it was a tough loss for him. Like, man, he worked his ass off in that build up. You can tell he did. But
he looked the best he's ever looked, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. And funny enough, going back actually to what you said there, we were talking to a guy when the onslaught of punches were coming, he thought that wasn't much. That reminded me of, I think it was the third round of the Diaz 2 fight when Nate started an onslaught.
Yes.
And he didn't actually land much. He didn't land any big shots. Originally, I thought that's what was happening. I said, no, he's okay.
So you were probably in the same boat. Your automatic go.
I was calm, yeah. I was watching my brother and my mom, and I says, no, don't worry. Everything's all right. We'll get out of this now. He needs to see this round through now.
Whereas I was watching it and I saw the shots and I was like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah. I think I underestimated Dustin's power because as soon as Conor went down, that's when I knew. I said, oh shit, they did damage. And
the referee stopped it at the perfect time. Anyone saying
Herb was very quick. Yeah, he's a great referee, man.
He's the best in the game.
Favorite now.
Best in the game for sure. Like
him and John McCarthy. I know John doesn't referee anymore. He does the podcast now with Josh.
Big John is.
Big John. He was great, man.
You don't get out of that Big John clinch if he gets you. You're getting.
Oh, he's a big boy, isn't he? He's a big boy.
There's actually some great. There's a great little video on YouTube for anyone that's interested in it. It's when referees attack, and it's actually really.
Seen it plenty of times.
Man, like referees getting the little Kimuras in on lads, and I was like, what the fuck? Like,
Mark Goddard's done it a few occasions, hasn't he? Who has a little bit of a beef with Conor. Actually, you know that English referee, Mark Goddard.
Yeah.
He's not afraid to kind of go. I think when Conor won the lightweight title in Cage Warriors when he knocked out Ivan Butchinger.
Yeah.
With that beautiful left cross, that left hook. He was about to kind of do, and Mark Goddard rushed in and literally flung Conor across the octagon. Conor wasn't going to hit the guy; he was just standing over him, And Mark Goddard came in and just literally lamped him across the. I wonder how that beef started. I wonder.
I actually remember years ago Finn Balor telling me actually that he was in with Herb Dean. It was in LA or something when they were doing the New Japan, I think it was, or something like that. I could be wrong, but I remember it was either him or Becky, but I think it was definitely him. And he was saying that Herb was in with them, like kind of stretching them and all, like, you know what I mean? He's like really, really.
He was an MMA fighter himself, I think, Herb Dean, wasn't he?
Oh well, I don't know. Did he have any fights? I don't know, but I know he trained.
There's a video of him. Check it out, man. He's in the octagon beating the shit out of somebody.
Okay.
And he's another big boy, actually. He is heavyweight, man. He's a big boy.
Slick boy as well. Like, so that's
yes.
But in terms of that's the fight itself. In terms of this year we've mentioned, Conor's going to want to get straight back in there. It looks like Dana White pretty much wants to make that trilogy happen straight away, rather than having Dustin fight someone else or Conor fight someone else. And I'd imagine this one would be for the belt, possibly. No? Do you think so? Or do you think that would be unfair to Dustin because Conor's coming off the back of a loss and the fact that he had such a long stint out of the ring? Or do you think that there will be a fight in between that where Dustin might fight someone for the belt and the trilogy?
So people keep talking about the lightweight division and how good it is. And I think one thing that is really avoiding giving Dana White a headache is the fact that you've got so much top talent there, but this is where it works in Dana's favor, where he can make this rematch. You've got Dan Hooker. He's lost 2 fights in a row now, so he's out of the equation for the moment. You've got Michael Chandler with that impressive debut win. That's only his first UFC. Yeah. It's only his first UFC fight.
He's cut from the Kurt Angle cloth, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's great. I'm interested in him. But again, he needs another fight in the UFC before he gets that title. Yeah. So that's another one out of the mind. Tony Ferguson, 2 defeats in a row. Nate Diaz, inactive. And Justin Gaethje lost his last fight. So, obviously, to Khabib. But So now you look at it and you say the only real guy that could probably make an argument really is to come and say, oh, why is that rematch happening? Where's my title shot? It's Charles Oliveira. So that's why really I think it's pretty easy for Dana to say, hang on, no one can really say anything to me here for making this rematch. No fighter can be unhappy other than Charles Oliveira. All these guys are on a loss, including Nate Diaz. He's still on a loss too.
Yeah, it's actually great timing for McGregor to have that shit.
Absolutely.
Because I think you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think the rematch. I think it should happen. And look, think about the pay-per-views that brings.
Well, dude,
if it's for the belt as well.
Dana's already said it. Really, that's the match he's interested in. So I mean, they're more than likely going to have that in the States.
I think so.
Fight Island again.
So.
But yeah,
I think Conor will want it in Fight Island again. I think what he done with the Diaz rematch was very, very ballsy of him. Same weight, same venue. Well, no, I think the new T-Mobile Arena came in at that sort. So it's the same city as such. Same everything. Conor wanted everything the exact same. So I can very much see him wanting that again. Same venue, same deal, and obviously same weight. I think Conor won't want any changes, just to prove. And I do believe Conor's the better fighter, but Dustin had a good night. Conor had a bad one.
It was a hard one for me because obviously anyone that knows me knows my love for Nola and Nolan. So it was kind of one of those where I was like, right, if he's going to beat a Dublin boy, that'd be the guy I want. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I'm not heartbroken over it. If that had been some shithead who just talks shite like Justin Gaethje or something, I would have been like, oh man, not you.
Did you hear what Justin Gaethje said about Nate Diaz?
Yeah, and
very clever.
I don't disrespect obviously any fighter that gets into the octagon. Look, we don't get into the octagon, so they'd kick our ass. It's just more looking at it from. And look, Gaethje is kind of cool as well. I don't know. I would have preferred if anyone was going to beat Conor in that kind of way. I think Poirier is the one that you respect so much that you go, do you know what? You deserve that kid. Like fucking well done.
Yeah. And isn't it funny?
I was just saying, like even people who wouldn't be necessarily a fan of the sport, like my missus was watching the embedded videos with me, like the vlogs, and she was like, Jesus Christ, that Dustin Poirier fella's just such a nice man, isn't he? Like, and I was like, yeah, like he's literally one of the good guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think the work they both did together for the, helping the community in New Orleans is so essential because obviously, as you know, I have a lot of New Orleans friends as well, friends of the show, Kyle Thomas and all these guys, and they they're still feeling the devastation over there from Katrina from 2008. Like communities just wiped out that were never rebuilt, and they've all done it themselves. They've got no help from their governments or whatever. So when you see someone like Dustin Poirier doing what he's doing, and McGregor chipping in and helping out as well with that, I think that's far more important than the result of a fight. So
I think it was somebody. I think it might have been the Mac Life. I think that posted the headline that apparently now they're just awaiting the funds. I think to go through.
Go ahead.
500 grand. Yeah. And I think the Mac Life said it's great that they get to use the platform for what's really important. So they get to use the platform of being fighters for what's actually important. And look, we love this podcast. We love doing podcasts. We love talking about fighting. But this stuff is so much more important. You know what I mean? And it's great. And this is and Conor kept saying it during the week. It's all about giving back. This world is all about giving back. Yeah. And I think he certainly proved that with that incredible donation. Again, it's probably why I would want to see that fight again, because that's two guys. People could say what they want about Conor. But that's an unbelievable gesture. That's two guys now that really understand what's important in life. So let's have these guys fight for the title rather than people that are just talking crap. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Not doing anything, not doing anything that they should be doing, put it that way.
I agree, 100%. Well, we'll park that one there. I think it's going to be interesting to see if McGregor still has the ambition to get into the boxing this year and see what way the Pacquiao thing comes out. I think that might have maybe halted his plans for boxing a little bit because, he's going to want to avenge that loss. So that's probably another fight that's added to this calendar year that he probably hadn't expected, you know what I mean? So that probably takes, because he said he wanted 3 fights this year after that, I think.
And it's funny, he said 3 or 4, so I wonder now, is this the
so this could be the 4, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And maybe that's why he said it, man. Maybe that's why he said it in anticipation of losing. We don't know.
It's possible, and that's why I'm thinking: is he going to get into a camp for for the Pacquiao fight? Because I mean, this isn't Mayweather, and I know Pacquiao, like it's a different animal to Mayweather in the sense that this guy will hurt you. You know what I mean? Mayweather will he'll toy around with you for a while, like a cat playing with a fucking mouse or something like that. I don't know. But you know what I mean? It's like
Pacquiao's going to go in to knock him out as early as he wants, and so that means that
anyone that thinks Pacquiao's past it is kind of lost them, especially when you're fighting someone who's not a pro constantly. You know what I mean?
Pacquiao was going to want to get that one over on Floyd, which say took you 10 rounds, took me 2, 3, whatever it may be. You know what I mean?
And on to the boxing now. Of course, your mate Logan. Is it Logan or Jake Paul, the one you don't like, the guy with the? I listened to him.
I don't like both, but I dislike Logan least. You know, the least. This Jake guy is the guy that really gets me.
Yeah. Now I have to say, I did watch an interview with on Ariel Wani, and he did impress me on some of it, to be honest, because he did break kayfabe a little bit, and he explained what he was trying to do with the McGregor situation, and he said, "Look, of course I respect these guys, and he's trying to build himself up to fight." But when I heard about his background a bit, that his background was amateur wrestling and boxing, and the only reason they went to Hollywood was to try and break into movies and break the YouTube thing and the social media. So I think they're a little bit different in the sense that they're not just two jabronis like, some lad who was sitting playing video games all day and then decided he had enough money to go train. And so these guys do actually have a fighting background, especially in the amateur wrestling. The really impressive amateur wrestlers, like good record there. But I heard him ask the question. He was like, "Well, why did you bring up McGregor's wife?" And he goes, "Well, McGregor took the piss out of Khabib's wife and said she wore a towel on her head and disrespected his family and all." He goes, "So Conor can't really be upset with me doing that because it's the same thing." And I kind of went, "I suppose I can see that." You know what I mean? I just think it's disrespectful when anyone does that. I wasn't happy when McGregor done it, and I wasn't happy when Paul done it. I think the modern way, and in fairness, this is kind of the culture that McGregor has kind of set really himself, and now he's trying to break away from it, that he's older and he's a father and all that. So, but unfortunately, you do have a lot of these younger guys who were influenced by that and think that's how you sell fights. Whereas I've always been of the mentality that, dude, you can set up an amazing fight with trash talk and leave the families out of it. You know what I mean? I mean, the scariest one of them ever was when Mike Tyson told Lennox Lewis he would eat his children and all this. I was like, what? Okay.
Famous interview.
Even then, I was like, that's below the belt. You know what I mean? So I'm not really one that likes kind of families and innocent parties being brought into it just to sell a fight. I think you can do plenty of trash talking with the beef that you have with each other and stuff like that. So it's one to watch. Obviously, he's fighting Ben Askren now in boxing. I don't know how that one will go, to be honest with you, because obviously Ben's not a boxer and he's coming in thinking, I'm going to take care of this kid. And your man, is it Jake Paul that he's fighting? Yeah, I get so confused. Logan, is it? Jake Paul.
Yeah, Logan's fighting Floyd.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So,
sorry. Fighting Floyd.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Whereas this lad seems to actually have a bit about him that he wants to get in and have tear-ups with lads. So I actually respect that. Do you know what I mean? I respect the balls of that. And I heard he's gone over to Florida now and he's doing stuff with Masvidal. Masvidal's helping him out, training as well. So that'll be interesting to watch just from a completely neutral perspective to see how Ben Askren gets in there. Because, I mean, Ben Askren's going to want to tear this lad's head off, right? You know, because he can't afford to lose to the YouTuber, even though the YouTuber is training like a pro boxer. Like, so it's an interesting one to see how that goes.
It is, and I didn't watch this interview on Ariel Helwani's thing because I watch Ariel Helwani's things. Yeah, and it's something to do with that. If he was a boxer, I'd watch his interviews.
Yeah, well,
but this guy ain't a boxer. Well, and like I think Ben Askren taking the fight and maybe for him because he's retired, maybe it's okay because he's retired. No, if that would have been, exactly. And I think if that would have been somebody else that's active, I would have been disappointed. So I think Ben Askren, I have one message to you, sir. Just one: don't fuck this up. Don't mess this up. For any fight fan in the world, whether you're a boxer fan, whether you're an MMA fan, just do us a favor and just get rid of this guy, because he shouldn't be relevant. He shouldn't be. Even Ariel Helwani, I'm disappointed in him in getting him on a show. Like, he's knocked out an NBA star. I get it, it's money. I get it, but he's knocked out an NBA star and another YouTuber, I think, was it? And like, it's just
a basketball player, wasn't it? Basketball player, something
like that, yeah. And well,
he keeps talking like those pay-per-view numbers with Tyson and Jones Jr. were his. I was like, dude, that was the two boys. Like, come on. By the way, spoiler alert, next week on episode 3, the Logan brothers are joining us on the Creeping Southpaw. Imagine that. That would be awesome.
I'll tell you something. I'd fucking call him out. I'd call him out. I'd get myself in a camp for 6 weeks and I'd call him out.
Yeah, well, that's grand. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll get in shape and fight the other lad then. That'd be grand.
No fucking problem. Let's do it, man. Tag team.
Tag team.
I'll put everything into it. Trust me.
we get all the boys involved. I'm sure McGregor help us out as well.
I've got a mate, man. You know what I mean? A friend of mine. He's in his 40s now. So
you got a guy. You have to say it like
I've got a guy. He's not actively boxing.
Yeah.
But he's a better boxer than this guy, and he's working, he's slaving away in the front lines. You know what I mean? Where's his attention?
Yeah,
it's just this. It's and people probably say, "Jay, leave him out," and he's only doing this, and he's trying to get his name out there, and blah blah blah. This guy is just the biggest dick that I think is walking the earth at the minute, and I am really, whether it's Ben Askren or whether it's somebody else, possibly Dylan Dennis next, who knows. Not the greatest stand-up fighter either.
Well,
I can't wait to see this guy get knocked
out of the fight, didn't he? In fairness, he didn't.
They're saying that, but I mean, like when you're.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying that's all.
When Jake Paul threw stuff at him there when he was getting interviewed by Brendan Schaub, and he was on the back of a fucking Jeep or something like that, and Dylan Dennis ran after him, even though Jake Paul had his crew there. So Dylan Dennis runs after the Jeep, and as soon as Dylan gets there, they drive away.
Yeah.
So if this guy really, really, really wants to fight, he would have jumped off that truck and he would have went at it. But no, he bitched it because he knew Dylan Dennis would strangle him within seconds, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's interesting to see how that plays out. Excuse me. So as you mentioned at the top of the show, you're going to get into some of the interesting potential fights. It's not Corona, guys. Don't worry. Been there, done that. No. I'm drinking ginger ale at the moment, and whatever way it's gone down, it went down wrong.
This is different than the debut show.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, ginger ale are nice. Nothing exciting in it, unfortunately.
No alcohol today. It's too early.
Too early. Way too early. But in terms of, you were talking next, you wanted to talk about some potential fights, and we kind of play a bit of matchmaking here. That's exciting. It's 3 divisions that are standing out for me, and I think probably a lot of boxing fans at the moment is lightweight, super middleweight, and heavyweight. Starting with lightweight, I think, we're going to talk about the pound for pound list a little bit later on. I think the guy that's on top of the lightweight division should be on top of that list as well. With Lopez, how good is this guy? I mean, I only watched his fight with Lomachenko there a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, I mean, I was watching that live as well, dude. I was pleasantly surprised. The run that Lomachenko was on leading up to that fight, and for Lopez to go in and the first, second, third round, I thought were lovely. Even though people might think not a lot happens, just the way the sharpness of the jab, the sharpness of the body fought. Yeah, he was going upstairs, then he was going downstairs. He's an incredible fighter, Lopez. So I think maybe then you've got Ryan Garcia. Can you see a rematch with Lomachenko and Lopez? Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's in the clause because it was his first.
I'm sure it's in the clause, but I think because of the score, and it was very, very one-sided to Lopez.
Lomachenko, the only way he was getting that fight was a knockout. And to be fair,
no doubt,
in round 10, 11, 12, Lomachenko did fucking go for it, and it was nice to see Lomachenko go for it.
Of course, well, he had to, didn't he?
He's a big fucking tough Ukrainian. I mean, those lads don't get knocked out. You have to beat these boys on points, But
Yeah, yeah.
Lomachenko did hit him with some fucking nice shots, in fairness, and Lopez did look kind of shook a few times. But what impressed me about that was, he showed the fucking the ability of a cat in the early rounds, like the speed, the sharpness of the jab, as you mentioned, and then he also showed the ability to be able to take that onslaught of punches as well. So I think if that rematch happens, I don't know if it ends up differently. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what Lomachenko. The only thing I could say is that if Lomachenko went for the kill earlier and wasn't trying to play a game of chess with him, because you're going to lose that with Lopez, as you say, it's just too quick, it's just too sharp. But yeah, I mean, I think the second, I think Lopez wins again. To be honest with you, and
I think so.
I hate saying that because I'm a Lomachenko guy. You know,
I know that, and I think it's. I mean, even for a Lomachenko fan to say that, I think most of them, if you were a fan and you really thought that he would have had a realistic chance of winning, you'd say it, right?
Yeah.
But I think matchmaking more. I think because it was so one-sided. What I would like to see now. This is great. I mean, you're gonna like this.
I can tell.
You know what it is.
Hit me with
Ryan Garcia versus Lomachenko.
Oh, baby.
Winner fights Lopez.
Winner takes all and go. Yeah. That's an interesting one, Ryan Garcia and Lomachenko, because Ryan Garcia showed in that fight that he can get put down and get back up and come back.
Get back up.
Fucking fantastic fashion. Arrogant little, kind of like a Mexican Nassim almost. You know, I love that. I love when it's honest. I love when it's honest arrogance. You know what I mean? I was a big fan, and you know, Amir Khan and all these guys. I love them. You know what I mean? And I'm all for it. Like,
he's every right to be it, man. You know, he's every right to be like that because he's backed it up, and that's what I mean. This is going back to this YouTube guy. You got to be able to back this up before you can talk.
He's someone I'm going to try. I'm going to try and get him on this show, and I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to try my best to get him on this show.
Please.
Now is the time we could probably get him as he's rising. You know what I mean? Before he reaches that upper echelon.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. You know what? That would make some good viewing, I think.
Oh, dude. I mean, I think he's definitely everything. Like, I only mentioned Nassim in terms of character, not necessarily in terms of fighting. I think he definitely has a bit of De La Hoya about him. He's got that Mexican tough fucking jaw on him. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can knock them down, but they'll still come back. But he's so flashy. Do you know what I mean? That's what I mean. He's got that.
He's the pretty boy, isn't he?
He is a pretty boy. Yeah. So he's got everything going for him. He's a good-looking kid. He can box. Sky's the limit for him. So that's a fight I would love to see, him and Lomachenko, and that would be a real test for him.
It's the biggest one.
Oh, without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
I don't know if he comes through that one, but if he did, then holy shit.
It depends on what they want to do with him, doesn't it? I mean, like, his promoter, like, do they want to? I mean, see, boxing, it's so different to the UFC. There's just so many different belts, and
it's a different art altogether, isn't it?
It really is. So, you know, you just don't know what's going on and who's promoting this guy, really, you know? But I think if they want to kind of have him as that golden boy, like they kind of done maybe with Conor in a way, I think, let's be honest, Conor never took an easy fight when there was a difficult fight there, I don't think. I think he's always taken the hardest challenges, so that's something that we can't take away from him. Yeah. But what do they do? I mean, do they kind of look and do they look at Garcia and do they say, Lomachenko, man, he ain't ready for that yet? Do you know what I mean? This guy's a rising star. Let's just rise him up. But then again, who else is there really for how big of a star that Ryan Garcia has become? I think now he's got to go for it.
Well, that's the thing. It's like if you look at certain fighters over the modern history. By that I mean the last 10 years. There's been so much ducking and dodging at the top level, and the promoters always get blamed. Oh, the promoters couldn't come to an agreement. A lot of times it's the fighters as well wanting to protect that clean sheet. And I'm not talking about AJ, but I am talking about AJ. You know,
so yeah, we discussed it last week as well. Like
AJ doesn't need to be afraid of nothing. I mean, you want to talk about aesthetically. I mean, he's up there with The Rock in terms of aesthetics. You know what I mean? He's just built like a fucking, a Greek god. Good-looking kid. Yeah. All the fucking women love him. Marketable. But so many shit fights were taken, and they were building this train. And then as soon as they put him in with what some people called the fat Mexican, which I thought was disrespectful, but that's what people were saying. Ruiz. And when he got in there, dude, I'd been saying it before. If he had fought Klitschko, I even think if he'd have fought Klitschko in a rematch, I think Klitschko probably would have come back and knew what to do in order to get it.
I agree.
I personally do, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a Klitschko guy. It's the same with Tyson Fury. I think if Klitschko had went and had that rematch, I think he could have been the only one to possibly beat Fury. Do you know what I mean? And get his tactics right. But regardless of that, I really do, think that now we're starting to break away from that old trend of protecting the fighter, build up the few years. And I think that's Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin are the fucking perfect examples of that.
Yeah.
They hid from nobody. Canelo got in there against Floyd early on, didn't give a shit and said, right, I'm getting in. I'm not afraid to fight anybody. And I hope that they do this with Ruiz as well. Give him that path. Same with Amir Khan. You know what I mean? Amir Khan got a few losses, and in fairness, some of them were devastating. Unfortunately, Khan just didn't have that chin against like a proper, hard ass fighter. But he didn't shy away from it. He kept coming back, and I always respected that. You know what I mean? Just unfortunately didn't have he just didn't have the chin for it. Like, get in there with someone like Canelo, and there's only one man really in that division that can take the punches that Canelo throws, and that's Golovkin. And also, well, I won't say the only one that can take them, in fairness. Not everyone's getting knocked out, but I mean, that can actually go toe to toe for those 12 rounds and doesn't lose sight of the end game. I mean, they've done it twice, and that's just two absolute brick houses going in there, trading blow for blow from round 1 to 12. Just exciting. And playing fantasy booking, that's gotta happen now, right? They're both with I know it's only a 2-fight deal for Canelo with Matchroom, but I mean, that's a 2-fight deal potentially leading to to more. And the fact that Hearn is Golovkin's boy now as well, I think they got to make that fight happen later in the year.
I think middleweight again. Super middleweight. I love that. That's probably my favorite division.
It's amazing because you've got Canelo against Yildirim now coming up in February, 27th of February.
Yeah, February.
A month. Yeah.
I know. It's really close, man. Yeah. And
that's a mandatory, though, isn't it? That's mandatory.
That's mandatory. Yeah, it's mandatory.
So I mean, Canelo comes through that. I'd imagine Golovkin gets another fight under his belt as well because he had a long layoff. And I mean, the sky's the limit. What they can do with that.
I think one of them have got to fight Billy Joe Saunders.
I can almost see that happening with Golovkin personally.
Agreed, and I think that and because of the simple fact, I do feel that definitely Eddie Hearn will feel that for Billy Joe Saunders. Like, look, I think this is because of Billy Joe Saunders with Canelo coming over to Matchroom. I think Eddie Hearn wants that fight. Then again, maybe we could see Billy Joe Saunders versus Callum Smith next. I mean, do you know what I mean? That's a great. That's a great fight.
Jesus, who are you putting on that? That's a tough one for you. That's a tough one for you. I'd actually, do you know what? I'd actually watch that live on Zoom with you just to watch your reactions to that fight. Because we'll do it. I could be. I'll just be completely.
Yeah. No, we'll do that, man. We will actually. We'll definitely do that.
You know what we'll do? We'll do our first. We'll do our first watch along if that fight happens. That's what we should.
Absolutely right. We got a deal there. We got a deal.
Yeah, boom. We're going to start doing that. We have actually talked about that, people. We are going to do some watch alongs with people at reasonable times. We're not going to be doing them with UFC or anything like that. That are at mad hours. Some of the big fights, if they're in America and they they're on at 5-6 in the morning, we'll do that. You know what I mean? And we'll do a drunk watch along, and people can sit drinking with us and watch it too. But I mean, good Lord, 2021 is definitely tailor-made.
50. Yeah, do you know these perfect examples of 50-50 fights where legitimately you just can't call them?
You flip a coin.
You just can't call them.
Yeah, if you're going to the bookies to put it on, you're like, right, flip a coin. That's who I'm picking.
Yep. That's Billy Joe Saunders versus Callum Smith.
Yeah.
And I think I would have picked Callum Smith all day long until the Canelo defeat. I think it was quite damaging to him.
Do you think so? Yeah.
I think it could be. Sorry, I rephrase that. I think it could be. Yeah. And I think, look, Canelo hits harder, faster than Billy Joe. Of course he does. He hits harder and faster than a lot of people. But I think Billy Joe Saunders now 30-0. He's sitting back and I think he's licking his lips now and going, do you know what? Billy Joe might say, I'm going to go after him now. Because it was kind of between the two of them. Who fights Golovkin? Who fights Canelo? You know, obviously with Golovkin coming up between middleweight and super middleweight. I think, do you know what? But then again, here we go. Do they do Golovkin? If, of course, albeit Canelo gets through the next fight, do they do that trilogy fight? Do they have Callum Smith and Billy Joe Saunders fight? Winner. But then again, you've got Celeb Plant there as well. You've got, what's the guy's? David Benavidez.
Yeah.
Look, this division, man, the super middleweight division is the reason why I love boxing.
I do recommend, I said it on the last show, and I'm just having a look here. Everyone's got to go and subscribe to DAZN. I know we're not sponsored by them yet. Maybe they will sponsor us when they hear us keep putting them over here. But
guys, they're the best.
It's cheap as chips. I mean, you're gonna get Canelo and Yildirim live on it. It's on your PlayStation if you want. It's on your phone. Doesn't really matter. You get all the news here. Like I'm looking here. Could McGregor return to boxing January? Blah blah blah. They give you top five fights we need to see in 2021. How's about we look at that? I mean, it's a video now. We're not going to look at it, but I mean, I would recommend it. And whoever owns DAZN, come fucking hit us up, and we'll. That's something I'm going to need to do now and get onto them. And
I'll wear the t-shirt, man. I'll wear the t-shirt.
Hell yeah! Like I absolutely love it. And like I say, seeing how easy it is with negotiating with the likes of Eddie Hearn now. I mean, like I say, people can say what they want about Eddie Hearn. He's a fucking treasure to the sport because he's negotiating with the likes of De La Hoya and all, and it's just easy for them. Golden Boy they seem so easy to negotiate as well. So I think we're starting to see that old cigar smoking promoter. You go down to 5, kid, or else you don't get home to see your kids. All right, you hear me? So like, I think it's you're starting to see that smoky fucking shady promoter like the Kingpin, basically hauling ass a bit more, and you're seeing the likes of Eddie Hearn and De La Hoya who are much younger. I mean, we could see De La Hoya fight in 2021. How exciting is that? He's talking about a comeback, and I mean that. I wouldn't be
him versus Dana. Here's him versus Dana White.
Oh, I would pay to watch that. I mean, that only goes one way, man. Let's be real. That only goes one way. De La Hoya is one of the greatest of all time, and I'd say he's still a hardy bastard too. Yeah, he always looks like he's in shape too. He always looks like.
Doesn't look so bad. Yeah, he looks okay. He when it comes to Dana White, he could go into that fight no matter what shape he's in, and still.
Dana White could be the guy that plays Kingpin, isn't he, in Daredevil or something like that?
Yeah. But Dana White, man, he's looking like a light heavyweight to me. That guy's a big boy, man. He's in good nick, isn't he, Dana White? Yeah,
he is. And like, he doesn't need a six-pack around. He's just a big meaty.
He's just a big block. Yeah.
I think he benches.
I promote that look, man.
Doesn't he bench like? You promote that look? Is that what you said?
Absolutely. Fuck six-packs, man. Just. Big shoulders, big arms. You can be big anywhere else. Big human. Right away, man. Right away.
That's why you'll never see McGuinness and Dynamo in a boxing match, because we're different weight classes. It can't happen. Exactly. Guys. It can't happen.
But I'm closer to Jake Paul's weight than you are as well. So I have it all up here.
What's Jake Paul's weight?
I think did someone say he's cruiserweight? Did somebody say that?
Hang on a minute. I'm going to check these boys out. Although, to be fair,
his brother's a cruiserweight. He's a big boy, that Logan guy.
Logan Paul. Because the thing is, I'm coming in at the 13 stone mark now at 5'9". Thanks to lockdown. Thanks to lockdown.
I've actually lost. I've lost 8 pounds. I think 8, 9. What am I on? 9 pounds now. I think in 2 weeks. I'm just going to get. I'm just doing a little tester to see how light I can get again, but. It's probably just going to blow. It's going to blow back up within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, probably.
Okay, so professional. There we go. Oh, so he's 6'2". Logan Paul's 6'2", and he fights in the 200 pounds or the 14 stone war division. So, but then again, like I'm coming in at 180, 81 now. So, 5'9" going in against 6'2". Well, in fairness, you're calling him out, not me. Let me see what Jake has in store from you. If I get him, we'll see which one is more. I
think I'll be closer to Jake, and Jake's the guy that I love to punch. Logan's a big boy. I don't want nothing to do with him, man.
Oh, so he's got what's he got? All right, so he's he's in the cruiserweight division too, but he's is he? Hang on, Jake Paul. Jake Paul's the lad. Wait, where is he? All right, so he's in the 80 kilos. What's 80 kilos in stone?
Whoa. I don't know, stone. Do you know I go by pounds most of the time? I'd say that's.
No, we got him. We got him here.
180 something, 185.
So Jake Paul is 5'11", and he weighs in at about 165 to 170. So, like, dude, he's my guy.
Wow,
he's my guy.
He's that light.
Yeah. So he is. He's 5'11", yeah. But he looks fairly thick, though, doesn't he? Like, he looks fairly
chunky. I thought he would have been a lot bigger than that.
He must. I'd say he probably goes down in weight, though, in fairness to them. Oh, in fairness to the boys, like, they fucking work their ass off. They're in incredible shape.
Do you know what, man? We have to. We got to cancel this podcast now. We don't even know our stats about the greatest boxer of all time.
I know, it's terrible, man.
That's shocking. Carry on.
They're going to call us out now before they come on this podcast. I'm definitely getting them on this show. This is going to happen. Like, this is
let them do it. I'll ram a microphone, a guitar, and everything up their holes. Whether they beat me in a boxing match or not, don't worry, I'll get the last laugh.
Yeah, this is Ireland here.
Exactly.
So I suppose that is exciting. I mean, the potential fights that we're going to see. Obviously, we talked about it last week. We won't go into it in more detail with Tyson Fury and AJ. That's obviously going to be the biggest in terms of draw and money, and I think it will happen this year. To be fair, I don't think Eddie Hearn's going to let that slide, and I don't think Tyson Fury's side want to let that slide either. Man, there's so many good fights that can happen this year. Like, you want to get it. You were talking about the pound for pound rankings here, and you said I'd be quite surprised by it. I didn't check it out because you told me that you had it for me, so I'm going to pass this one over to you.
Yeah, the pound for pound rankings, Ring Magazine pound for pound rankings, typically just so inaccurate. So we've got Tyson Fury won the Ring 2020 Fighter of the Year, as I'm sure people are aware of.
Yeah.
He's not ranked in the top 10 pound for pound. Where?
What?
Do you know what I mean? Alexander Usyk, albeit very dominant in the cruiserweight division, he's ranked number 4.
Big fan, yeah.
Like, massive fan. Ranked number 4? Really?
Really?
Lopez, 6.
Oh, good Lord. This, all right.
Like,
you've already lost me now, ringside. So, and what? Oh, so I'm sure you're going to surprise me even more. Who's up at the top, right?
No, the top's okay.
Okay. Because you were going to really disappoint me.
No. We got Canelo number 1. That's a no-brainer, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, you got to have that, but it's got to be him and Lopez first and second, man. Jesus, that's.
And who is second?
And Tyson? What the Japanese guy? I think. Oh my
Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh, what's his second name, man?
Oh, Rainmaker Okada from New Japan.
You know what? Right, this is so unprofessional, but I gotta look him up, man, because I can't remember. I think he's
that's not unprofessional. This is what it's about. This is about shooting the shit. I like this.
I know the guy. I've watched him fight before, man.
I know exactly who you're talking about as well. I just can't put my name. Like,
his name is there. Like, it was the same when I was thinking of David Benavidez earlier on. I was like, man, what's his fucking name? You know, talk about boxing. Yeah. So, but like, I think the rankings. I think it's absolute crazy.
It's
not to have Tyson Fury there.
Man, Inoue. I can never pronounce it. Is that his name? Is that who you're talking about?
Is it Inoue? Is it?
Naoya Inoue. He's kind of got like blonde hair.
That's the one.
Yeah.
From Japan. Yeah. He's 20-0, 17 KOs. Good record. You got Terence Crawford as well, number 3.
That's you can't really argue that. I mean, like, Terence Crawford's another one of those like kind of like let me think. Let me fucking say this. Kind of like Deontay Wilder, that like the Americans just didn't really take to in terms of like he should be more box office than he is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a few of them, I think, to be honest with you.
You what?
There's a few of them, and even you know what? There's a few of them associated with Mayweather that they should be these mega superstars. What's the guy's name? Davis, Giunta Davis, is it?
Oh yeah.
He's what? He's super lightweight, is he?
Super lightweight, or is he just at the? Is he not just under? Yeah, he might be super lightweight actually.
Because I know he actually went up to middleweight. I actually think he's an interim champ at middleweight.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking, middleweight. But like maybe that's where he probably carved in.
Yeah, but like he's not. He all of a sudden he was this big star, but now you don't hear much about him nowadays. Even though I think he's still undefeated, isn't he? 20-0.
It's a strange market, the US, weird, isn't it? Like, and like even with music, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, they're a very strange market to kind of. I mean, Tyson Fury came in there and they just loved him because he was basically like a Conor McGregor, and he backed it up, but he was coming in and made a show with Deontay Wilder. We're going, look, I'm actually more marketable in your own country. Like, what's the story? You should be where I am. Like, you know,
And did you know that I absolutely despised Tyson Fury?
So did I for a while, yeah. Until
before he fought Klitschko and after he fought Klitschko. I despised the guy because of his behavior, because of the stupid things he was saying.
I know you and me were both Klitschko boys. I remember.
Yeah, wasn't a fan of him, man. It was how he got himself back up. And again, this shows to show you there's more important things to boxing.
The redemption.
How he got himself back up. You know, from this depression he went into, to make bounce back, lost the weight. You can't not like the guy for what he.
For anybody, I'd say that, like, and I'm not a preacher or anything like that, so I don't want to be preaching to people here in the show, but I would recommend for anyone going through like any sort of struggle or hard times, go and just watch like Tyson Fury's interview with Joe Rogan. I would recommend.
Brilliant, that. So good, man.
And he's got like books out now on how to kind of live a better, fitter life and all. And you're just going, that guy just, you know what? Absolute real life hero for sure. Like,
and to not only do that and come back as a human being, to come back and win the heavyweight championship again from the most feared heavyweight in the last 20 years. It's like, whoa. I mean, you don't get that again, man. That's not going to happen again. Not in our lifetime, anyway.
That's lightning in a bottle stuff, and it's it's very sure. So Tyson Fury definitely is one to keep an eye on.
And with his Irish heritage as well, of course, we all love him over here, I think.
Yeah. He does. He represents Ireland and the UK, which is fair. Does, I don't mind that. We're all friends now, and you know it's
we're cool.
Yeah, we're cool. They don't do.
I will pay any Englishman to go and take out Jake Paul. No problem. I'll pay all my wages.
Even if there's a Rangers fan, yeah.
Anything. It could be a United Rangers, Habib fan. Go take out Jake Paul.
Do you know who they should get in there with him? Do you know they should get in there with him? Around the same height as well. Former footballer, not very well liked by a lot of the public, but loved by yours truly. That was kind of slick, actually. I'm proud of that one. Mr. John Terry, get in there and fucking fight one of the Paul brothers. He would smash them up.
Yeah, John Terry, yeah.
Even Rio Ferdinand was about to get into the boxing for a while, wasn't he? He was going to do a celebrity.
Yeah, didn't he put up photos and stuff, and he was all rigged. Was that Photoshop, or was that actually real?
No, that was real. He's a big boy.
Was
Rio Ferdinand's a big boy. Yeah.
That's how he looks, right, man?
He
got a nice little beard transplant as well, didn't he? He's looking well.
Yeah, I'd put my money on Rio to get in there, and take out one of the Paul brothers. Who else could we get in there? Do you know what? There's a pro wrestler out there that wouldn't mind doing an outboxing match and get in with one of the Pauls. There's a celeb fight.
I mean, who we got there that could do it? I mean, there's a few. CM Punk, let him fucking fight him.
In boxing, I don't know about that.
I was kidding.
I know I'm apparently his doppelganger and all that shit, but like, yeah, I think Punk needs to go back to wrestling. That's
exactly. I couldn't become an accountant after learning for a year. That's the shit.
Get Jericho in there with him.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. There's a lot of fights, and you know what? It's only going to be a matter of time before he starts doing what Connor's doing or did. Start calling out those WWE boys, and then all of a sudden, Braun Strowman. Oh, I'd pay money to see that.
Actually, just Brock Lesnar. Just get Brock.
No, we have to be fair here now. We don't want the guy to get murdered.
Well, let's be fair then. Let's put Brock against both of them.
In boxing or anything?
Anything.
Next question.
One winner. And that's Brock. He'd use one half of his body for one.
Yeah.
I know.
Literally.
No, we're being a bit disrespectful here. At the end of the day, like I said, I do respect any man that gets in a boxing ring and puts his life on the line. And that the same with the Paul brothers. In fairness, I know I have different opinions than you on them because I've seen a little bit more of them talking, and I understand what they're trying to do. It's not necessarily something I agree with, because like you, I am a boxing purist and I like the tradition of that. But at the same time, like when you're able to hustle and kind of get a 50 million pay-per-view together off the back of being, your YouTube work or your, that'd be like us, when Dynamo Podcast Network blows up, and going, you know what? We have a bit of money now. Let's do a training camp. So it's I respect any man or woman that gets in an octagon or a ring, in fairness, because it's easy for a lot of people, especially those people out there that just sit laughing at fighters when they lose. I think that's I think, you know what, that's something as well. I was actually meant to bring it up earlier on. To see the amount of just classless fighters after Conor McGregor was beaten, Nate Diaz, Khabib, Gaethje, you'd expect so much better from people like that with credentials like they did. The only thing I'd say, I'm a bit surprised with the Diaz one. The only thing I'd say with Khabib, you can kind of understand that there's underlying hate. You can get it to a sense, but I think Khabib has also got to look and say, look, Conor's even saying if he doesn't want to come back, all the best to him, fair play to him. You know what I mean? I think and look how humble Conor is after every defeat. If he's watching a fight at home, no matter how bad he hates the guy, great contest. He even said that after Khabib beat Gaethje. Yeah. No. And who's the one that gets slated from people outside the sport? Is Conor for his trash talk. Yeah. Look how he handles defeat, and look how compared to the other guys do. That's all I'll say. Oh no, I'd agree. I can see both sides of it. I can see why some people still have that lingering, I suppose, dislike for McGregor because of the track record of, certain things that he probably done that people didn't like. So it probably leaves a lasting taste. Some people do have a longer memory than last week. You know what I mean? Because most people these days are, they're just bet into social media and they can't kind of, it's like a WWE storyline. It'd be like, oh, that didn't happen 2 weeks ago now. Now all of a sudden he's a good guy. You can understand that. But then I can also understand that Conor is trying to rebrand in that way as well and show that he's a bit more mature. I think with the Khabib one, he still said a few things over the recent weeks going, he doesn't want to fight me. He's afraid of me and all. And that's Khabib is kind of like, how am I afraid of you? I fucking demolished you. And I do it again. And it's funny, Khabib is probably in team. Send me a location. Send location. But no, I think that one's a bit different. I am surprised with the Diaz situation. Very surprised. Because I thought they'd made money together and went, now maybe he's doing that as well, to be fair. There's probably a bit of work going on there just to kind of go. Maybe he's fueling the fire for the third fight. That's all that is, I think. And then look, all these lads want to put their name to McGregor. That's why Gaethje's coming out and saying this, and that's why they want to stir something in McGregor to go, right, I'll come at you. But he's not biting on anything now because he doesn't need to. And you ask any of the lightweights, even the likes of Justin Gaethje, who's lost at Dustin Poirier, said he's going to want to get that. You ask them who they want to fight. Who are they going to say? Money, you know what I mean? Money McGregor. Do you want to fight Conor for a number one contender spot, or do you want to fight Dustin for the title? They're going to pick Conor McGregor. Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. And I like seeing someone like Poirier getting the rub of the green now. Do you know what I mean? Because I'd say he came out with a nice little paycheck. And I hope so. I'd say, well, with Dana, you never know, and I do hope so. I really do hope so. And I think if number 2 happens, then he's going to get an even bigger paycheck. And I think McGregor would rather see people like that get that money that they deserve. You know what I mean? Rather than just some jabroni. Well, what he considers a jabroni. Most of these jabronis will kick the shit out of us, so we know that.
Hands down, man. I'd die before the fucking bell even went out of shock.
But no, that's a pretty good show, man. I think next week we're going to have a look at. So we're always going to come up with something different, and we are eventually going to have interviews and stuff like that as well, and have guys on where we'll be talking, you know, whether they be boxers. We got some Irish talent as well that we'd love to bring on, and stick with us, guys. Episode number 2 in the bag. We are going to have. I think we're going to be working on getting a social media channel, aren't we? We're going to get a Facebook.
We're going to do that. Yeah, we're definitely going to do a social media
Facebook
channel,
page,
yeah.
so we can keep in contact with people and let them suggest, you know, what they want to hear, and we'll kind of give people more of an update on what we're doing. But for the moment, stick to the Dynamo Podcast Network. We're on Facebook, and of course on YouTube as well. And all of the audio is available in all the usual spots like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to shows. We're going to be on there. Another great show in the bag, Jay.
I really enjoyed that one, man. Anytime the super middleweight division comes up in boxing, I am literally like, it's like a kid in a candy shop, man. I am just going to talk and talk and talk. So, and definitely next week's going to be a good show as well. They're going to keep getting better, man. That's the thing. And it's very hard to do shows, especially with no fights kind of currently happening at the minute. But once the fights start coming back regularly as well, boom, Jesus, we're going to shoot off big time, man.
Absolutely, man. The sky is the limit. But until next week, like we say, subscribe to the Dynamo Podcast Network. If you enjoy our stuff, leave a comment, leave a like. If you dislike it, hell, tell us why. We're here to give you everything that other boxing channels can't, and the only way we can do that is by your feedback and your support. So until next week, for me, Ian the Dynamo Kelly, for Jay the Creep McGuinness, we are over and out.